Mobile.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Bhavadar. I think that's the generic question for everyone. Most of them has it out. Okay. So to start with, right, like as I said earlier or stated earlier, right, uh, whenever there was a term in DevOps seen in the job profile or in your resume, when you know limited number of technologies, you have been offered a job. Okay. Before coming to that, like let's set up some ground reality. What is DevOps? Okay, I believe like most of you are aware, but still, I'm I'm willing to set that actually, right? So there is no, to be honest, there is no standard definition or set of principles for DevOps. Okay, they change from organization to organization, right? And it's in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, and this DevOps, right, is a team which has formed 10 years back or 11 years back, where they wanted to bridge the gap between the developers and operations, right? So that's where the dev and ops comes in picture, right? And so what are the wide range of tools and technology we have, and that is not limited. For example, say if you take any, if you ask like for any UI developer, right, as you stated, right, front end developer, he works on most of the NPMs or Java, JSP or JavaScripts or most of the front end technologies alone. Okay,
Yeah.
front end
Yeah.
frameworks, right? So that limited to them for them. But when it comes to DevOps, right, you have a wide range of tools and technologies available in the market, right? And it's not necessary that organization uses everything for them. Okay. And it's also not necessary you have to know everything. Okay. But it is completely organizational uh, definition, what the tools, frameworks, and technology they'll use in their DevOps. And they'll also define what is my DevOps team will do it. Okay. And there is no predefined roles and responsibilities for a DevOps engineer defined. Like for example, when I say DevOps engineer, he'll only do release, build, pipeline citing, and all the stuff. In some industries, when you go as a DevOps engineer, he also does the platform management, platform enhancement, POCs, feasibility studies, a lot of stuff, other stuff. Okay, right, so that's how it is there. So now, in the past 5 years back, when you know few technologies among these DevOps frameworks or tools and technologies, right, you have been considered as a DevOps engineer there. Like for example, say essentially in the DevOps stack, right, you have version control systems, then you have the CI/CD tools, then you have configuration management tools, cloud, and microservices. Okay, high level things, and then you have the observability stack where you do a lot of monitoring and all stuff. These are the high level technology areas where you need to know at least one framework, one tool, or one technology from all these areas to fit in into anywhere in a DevOps role. Okay. So if you know limited like three out of them, then you're still considered of this one, right? So now what is the industry looking out? Okay. Uh, right. Earlier, if you know to write a pipeline, if you know to launch a VM in the cloud, and if you know to manage your AWS cloud, right, you have enough opportunities in that. But with AI, these are all fruitcakes are built in available to do things like to write the pipelines, to create the branches, or to manage the branches, or to do the fix the builds issues, or to create to provision the infra, right? All these things can be done by AI. Okay. In any Gen AI tool you take it out, in any Gen AI model you take, you name it out like OpenAI's models or Claude models like Sonnet or Gemini's like Flash, anything you take it out, they'll give you a pre-prepared everything there, right? So now, if you are switching from front end from any technology to DevOps, right? You need to know the problem solving attitude. Okay. When I say problem solving attitude, you have to solve the problems in the area. It's not now that problem solving is not limited to your area where your expertise on. It is with AI, it has opened the scope to solve the problems across the your business. Okay. In any technology, you can take that. You come up with a solution and you can present the solution there. And that's one capability what you need to have. You need to know the problem solving skills. You need to identify the problem and solve it out. And the other critical skill what you need to have it out, you need to have a capability of leadership capabilities of driving the initiatives. Okay. You should be technically and management side, both the side, you should be good enough to drive that any initiative which is coming from the enterprise, from your organization. It can be from the A. For example, say, uh, if they say right now we have this DevOps tool, I wanted to adopt this Devin. Devin is one of the software as a agent tool. What is in the market available? One of the right. If they come and say like, okay, team DevOps team has to start adapting the DevOps. So the Devin as a tool, you come up with the use case and all that. So you should be capable of doing that. Okay. So you have to build this one, and you need to get an understanding of your DevOps tools and technologies altogether. So this now you can imagine like the amount of effort what you have to keep now when you wanted to crack an interview. Okay. So once you are onto the floor, all your experience helps there. Okay. So because like you have been in the industry, you have been working in some kind of a project, technical project, then you will help it out. But to crack an interview, these are the skills what they look at. Okay. You have to prove your technical skills, you have to prove your leadership skills, and you have to see like whether you are having attitude to solve a problem and drive the initiatives towards adoption of AI. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I got your points. Yeah,
Correct. So
that's
now,
fine.
so now to start, if you, so
Mm,
probably I would think like this, if you are if I am in your position,
mm,
what are the challenges I have because of a UI front-end engineer? What are the challenges I have to scale myself in this one, and why I am moving to DevOps? Because like earlier, right, the switch between the technologies was easier. Okay.
correct.
Right, the
Mm,
switch between the technologies, like you can from QA to you can give to DevOps, from DevOps to you can move to developer. This was all possible actually because there was no Gen AI, to be honest, at the time. It's all like your maturity, how do you handle things, how quick learner you are, right? Those
correct.
all factors were playing at the time. But
Mm,
now it we don't say like there are we now we can't say like industry is trying to adopt the AI. We I think we are good to say that industry has already adapted the AI. They are just finding the ways how they can excel that. Okay. There are quite a
correct.
few challenges like how to handle that, the cost thing, how to manage it. That's all there. But to sustain, to switch to the DevOps technologies or any technology, you should be having some real-time experience around it out, or you should gain a real-time knowledge around that tech on that job role, something. Then only you will be able to justify any job profile and other stuff.
Okay.
So is this clear? Is this answer clear to you, or if you have any other further question also, anything not clear, you can ask that also, Baba. I'm telling this
Yes.
to you.
Yeah.
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 So
So,
see, yeah,
yeah.
this is what I said was it's not to demotivate you. I'm just
Mm,
telling you the exactly what they are looking at because like we conduct a lot of interviews as well. Okay.
okay.
So this is what
Okay.
we see. Like so earlier, so there
Mm,
is a change in the interview process as well. Okay. Earlier, right,
mm,
when
mm,
we do conduct the interviews, some any engineer who says like I worked on XYZ tools, we ask him what you done it there, and he knows the basics
mm,
and all the stuff. We tend to think like okay, he's capable of learning things on the floor and he can pick up things. He was hired at the time. Now
mm,
what we see, at least my perspective, what we see in the any engineer when we interview him them, he should be
mm,
knowing what he has worked on in depth. For
mm,
example, say if you name Kubernetes, right, as a
mm,
DevOps engineer, when you call, if you say like if you
mm,
I worked on Kubernetes, we expect you to understand the Kubernetes in and out. Then
correct.
only you can implement AI around Kubernetes, because AI will not
Mm,
teach you
correct.
what is there, but it will, you are now you are in a
Mm,
position to certify or validate what AI is doing it on, right or wrong. So you're going to do that role more.
mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah, Baba,
Oh,
you're asking some question. Please go ahead.
Yes, thanks. Actually, what my question is like, as you mentioned, problem solving those things. So, on this aspect, technical skills, it will be helpful for me to take any sort of course in Udemy or something like that. Helpful, or mainly because to get into the project inside our company itself, they might ask for that DevOps skills, right? Like,
Correct.
so taking a help. Currently, I'm having the skills related to front end, so I'm confident anywhere I can crack that front end related stuff interviews. But whereas coming to the DevOps side, I need to take up any course something like that, or taking a or that job in training. What would be the better choice?
Sorry, sorry. So if let me reiterate your question. Correct me if I have misunderstood it out. So,
Yeah,
what you're saying that like you already, as you stated, you already have the experience in the UI as a front-end
correct,
developer.
correct,
So to crack
correct.
an interview in UI,
Mm,
you are good because you have
yeah,
already have work experience in that, right? But
correct,
if you
correct.
wanted to go on to DevOps, right?
Mhm, mm,
Uh, Question is like, I need to complete any courses on Udemy because of my
yeah.
technical background, I should be able to understand things, or
Mhm,
I can directly apply for DevOps role and then on the job I can learn things. Is that the
yes,
question word? Correct?
correct, correct. Yeah.
Uh, See, you should know prior before you apply to the role what they are is asking it out. Because if
Okay.
you are getting interviewed for the DevOps role, they'll ask you the DevOps related questions only. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you should know the things like how things works as a DevOps engineer.
Mhm.
You should have a mindset of a DevOps engineer because like
Okay.
because you are in the industry, right? I
Yes.
think you agree with me. Every engineer's mindset is different, right? If you take a
Correct.
developer's mindset, he'll have a different mindset of working. Okay.
Correct.
And if you take the operations engineer, he'll have a different side of mindset of working. And if you take the project management manager, right, he'll have different. So for a DevOps thing, you need to build the mindset of a DevOps engineer,
Mhm, mhm,
then
mhm,
only you
mhm.
will be able to. And tools and learning the courses, yes, you can learn from Udemy because
Mhm.
it's all same thing what we use in everywhere in the across the organization, like because like, you might be using UI for front-end development, but you might be deploying your front-end microservices in Kubernetes, or you might be deploying them in the VMs, right? That infrastructure you might be had already having the hands-on, right? So
Correct.
you'll be having more overview of application configuration. DevOps engineer will have more of like a infra and the application configuration knowledge.
O-
That's the
Okay.
only difference what you have. That you can just like on top of your layer, just adding few more layers to your technical stack. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Amar bhai.
So, so Umar bhai, would you suggest some basic starting fundamental tool or thing necessary basically to get started, or some fundamental Udemy course would you recommend?
Yeah, so I would recommend it like for DevOps actually there is a separate platform available by name Codo Cloud. Okay. So you'll have a subscription of annual subscription of somewhere around 12,000 or something like that. Okay. So that has a list of courses, everything you require for a DevOps platform engineer or AI ops engineer. Okay. So once you get into that annual subscription or a monthly subscription, you will get access to all the courses. And they're not into the advanced uh, level of understanding. They'll give you the beginner and intermediate level of understanding of how the DevOps tools and technologies works, or platform engineer tools and technologies, what are required out, and even the cloud stuff, right? You have all these
Yeah.
flavors in that particular platform, you'll get it out.
What is the name you mentioned?
Codo Cloud. I'll share the link actually.
Okay. See,
So
DevOps, as Umar bhai was mentioning, it's all a combination of infra, Unix, cloud, Unix system, Linux system, or we can say, and then cloud also, little bit networking knowledge, CI/CD pipeline. Tool can be of different actually. It can be related to GitHub, or it can be Azure DevOps pipeline, or some other open source tool. Basically, your job is to deploy the solution either into like Kubernetes or virtual machine, as Umar bhai was telling, or some other cloud platform, AWS, GCP. Terraform is also one of the, I see the scripting technology quite regularly used in the DevOps pipeline. Similarly, Microsoft has their own like pipelines actually, and so these things basically how you can deploy a solution microservice into some open source thing. Even if you create the subscription of AWS or like Azure, then you will get free credits, and then you can play out some. Even I see Microsoft Learn, there are free tutorials are there to create CI/CD pipeline actually. Likewise, Google GCP also has a lot of tutorials because they promote their own products also, and the CI/CD pipeline and the related DevOps tool which is there in the specific cloud. Even you can go there and with free credit you can have the hands-on also. There are a lot of
Okay.
like specific certifications also there. Like AWS, there is a DevOps
Yeah.
engineer role certification is there. Azure DevOps certification is there. So you pick up one thing actually, and some of the resources which Umar bhai is telling
So
have some
let
hands-on.
me
Yeah.
add on to what Shwebas was saying that see down 5 years down the line, right? So now 5 years past, right? As a DevOps engineer, you're expected to write a pipeline, Docker image file, or Terraform modules, or configure the Kubernetes, maintain the CI/CD, or respond to any production incidents, or fix any incidents in the non-prod or pre-prod environments. Okay, this is what you're expected to do it out. Now, these things is done by AI. You don't require a separate resource to do it out. Okay. You just give it one prompt, it will create you the pipeline completely and it'll give it to you. Just need to copy paste it around. Or even if you have the agents configured and it will plug and play the pipelines for you. You don't require to do that. Okay. So what AI cannot do is, right, architecture. Okay, right? Defining the architecture. It cannot define the architecture completely. Okay, unless it can give you some based on its model training and all of the information it has, it can give some references for the architecture, but cannot create an architecture which can fit your business requirement. First thing, okay, and making the decisions, okay, and the cost optimizations, right, and even the as I said earlier, right, so the driving factor. Okay, for example, if some incident has happened, P2, P3, whatever we called, or some environment has crashed on. Okay, there was an incident recently happened in, I don't know if China or somewhere actually, right? So what happened there? They are in their data centers. They were managing all the data center through the automated AI agents. Okay, so what the agent has done is, right, like when it was trying to weekly recycling activity, something they call it out. I don't exactly remember what it was, right? When it was trying to do that, it realized something is not working. What it did, it completely scrapped up the complete data center. I think the instances, okay, from the data center, and it was trying to relaunch everything. Okay, so people who has worked on the infrastructure and who has the knowledge on the infrastructure, right? You can imagine, right? Just like patching and rebooting instance is a different activity. And when you identify something is not good and decommissioning and rebuilding everything is a different activity, right? So the agent, what it has done, it was trying to, when I was doing some patching activity, it realized saying that, okay, something is not wrong. I'll decommission and rebuild the whole infrastructure. Okay, there was a huge outage for one data center completely. Okay, all the applications in that hosted on that particular data center were gone off. Okay, over a period it has come up. The agent has brought them back, but there was a downtime, and because now here the decision making is not there at the AI level. Okay, it will do what it was taught. So that's where the human brain comes in picture. Okay. Yeah. So to anyone who wanted to switch to DevOps, there are few skills, basic skills, which are still uh, needed for this one, right? Like for example, say you need to understand the networking concepts, you need to understand the OS concepts, you need to understand the DNS concepts, you need to understand the load balancing concept, you need to understand the virtualization, especially in the virtualization area, like containers. Okay, how does the monolithic or microservices they work out? How do they do it out? Yeah. Yeah, I'll stop there and probably if there are any more questions, we can take it further.
Yes, participant, this is a open Q&A session actually. So it is not some presentation or anything. It's based on your query. We will be answering your queries basically. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask question. And feel free to clarify any doubts also. I would emphasize one more thing actually, with AI coming, it is not that we don't pay attention to the fundamental, then the core studies and the basic stuff and the hands-on, everything remains same. Because AI can give wrong answer, it can give wrong, because as Umar bhai is also telling, right, that it cannot take some decisions actually, architectural decision. But we as a human, if we are expert, to reach to that level, our fundamental also should be very strict or even more strong than before actually, to have our own thought process involved and to solve the business process. So it is not like that you will just completely skip the basic thing which is needed to become a DevOps engineer or any engineer in any field basically. So feel free to unmute yourself, ask any other queries. I see there are 12 plus peoples are there. So any basic question or any basic, don't think so it is basic or anything, just ask without any hesitation.
Yeah, hello. Uh, Actually, I am a CSC fresher and am not currently working anywhere. But if I want to build my career in DevOps, what should I do to get started? What skill, tools, and projects should I learn to become the DevOps engineer?
Okay. Hussein, like you have to start with basics actually, right? From your curriculum. You probably, I believe, if you're, as you said, like you're from CSC background, right? You will have the OS, uh, operating systems, or networking, and all the stuff, right? If you have that, you have to understand a little bit internals of the kernel systems and how they worked out. Okay. Post that, right? Now you need to understand these are the basic things for any engineer who has to come into IT field in the technology side. Okay. In my opinion, okay, they should know the OS concept, networking concepts, load balancing concepts, irrespective whether you are a developer or whether you are a DevOps engineer, whether you're a cloud engineer, doesn't matter because these will help you in scale up in your uh, profile in your job. Okay. So next to after you got clarified with this, got an understanding of like fair understanding of these things, right? Then you start with the in the DevOps area, like first is the version control system. In the version control is like GitHub, what we do it out for source code management and all the stuff. Any one source code management tool. Then you understand the any CI/CD process. What is the CI/CD process? What are the learn any one tool like Azure DevOps or Jenkins or GitHub Actions or anything. You can learn one thing. Then you come up with the at least you need to have understanding all these tools. And one cloud is must and should. Okay. One cloud. It can be Azure, GCP, or AWS. Any cloud you learn, it should be good. Okay. And the other factor is on the microservices. That's the containerization. That's the Kubernetes. Orchestrator, you can use Kubernetes or Nomad, anything. But Kubernetes is widely used out across the industries. So you can use open source Kubernetes one. So these are the five areas where I can ask you to look out if you wanted to move to DevOps to understand when you wanted to do things.
Yeah, thank you. But can you tell me what is the future scope for DevOps?
Okay. The roles will the names of the roles will change in future. Okay. The kind of a work what you do may not change. Uh, the way you do work will change, but the name of the roles will change. For example, say DevOps roles, they may start calling as a platform engineer or a some other names actually. Okay. right? How do they evolve out, right? So because like you are a fresher, I'll tell you like there in some 15 years back or 16 years back, we have some engineers called build engineers. Okay, we have something called package engineers, package managers. Okay, what they used to do, they used to do the packaging of a artifact. You got a raw byte of a raw code, and that code is handed over to them. They'll run the all the build tools and all the stuff, and they package and they artifact out. And there is one more engineer called release engineer. Okay, what his job is was like he does it out. He does the deployment on a particular environment, whatever the environment is required of, the software whatever you require. Now that has been all gone, and you got into one role called DevOps engineer. Okay, and this will rename, the names will change. Okay, but the way you work, the infra what you work, and the technology what we work, that will evolve, but that will not go away. Okay, like for example, say, as I said, like Linux, everything. When you learn these basics, when you know CI/CD process, when you know the cloud architecture or the cloud infra, how does the applications are deployed, how the cloud is managed out, it can be any role, but these technologies will be asked in even future as well. Don't go with the role, name of the job. Okay, so always look out like a set of technologies what you wanted to learn and all the stuff. You'll always have opportunities around it out. I hope I answered your question, Hussein.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, thank you.
See, in big enterprises, DevOps role used to be very big. Like I am working in right now in one of the leading car manufacturer in the Japan. I can't take the name of the client, but they have like 5 million vehicle running. It's a telemetry real-time ecosystem which project I am working right now. And we have multiple DevOps CI/CD pipeline release process used to be there. So we have a big DevOps team to handle this complete architect role, lead, to manage this pipeline because we have production system, then staging, SIT, UAT, quick fix deployment. Lot of environment used to be there in the real time system, and every environment needs to be managed. Like development team is working and they are pushing the code to the dev branch, and it will go to the QA branch. Prod version will have something different. While running the pipeline, there will be some issue will be coming. Pipeline is breaking up. DevOps engineer will like fix that issue. DevOps engineer, like they do a lot of stuff. As an architect, DevOps engineer, lot of upgrade to the technology come like virtual machine system, like service fabric, like our microservice hosted on the service fabric. So that needs to be upgrade. So that engineer will plan out everything. The like .NET system need to be a lot of thing like used to happen here and there. That as a DevOps engineer or the pipeline like engineer as a platform engineer, these people used to maintain. They used to plan the any if any hotfix needs to be deployed. How it doesn't go very smooth way. All the approval, business justification, testing environment, like testing result, everything needs to be planned out, and then it used to be like given deployed on the system. So in big enterprises, DevOps has a very important role. In fact, I would say our is like all mostly a developed product actually. So we have a more scope towards DevOps, and rather than like new development, mostly the maintenance part. So I hope you are able to realize the big picture which happens in the big enterprises. Although the AI has come, but it doesn't mean our like client has given everything to the AI. We are there. People are using AI to create some of the scripts. Actually, DevOps people also need to be flexible. They also need to have developer mindset to write some Python script, shell script, or PowerShell script, whatever needed in that organization to run that CI/CD system. They need to be a quick learner. So this problem solving skill mindset, this needs to be there actually. And you need to like work and get the requirement from the stakeholder, get the have the right communication set in place, propose the solution, propose the alternative, what is the pros, cons. So all these things plays a very big role. So I would say, as Umar Bhai is also telling, have the sound fundamental, technical fundamental. Don't look for shortcut. I will do this code, then I'll become a DevOps engineer. It's all a long journey, and give your fundamental very strong, step by step, and how you plan out. There are a lot of resources are there. Go through that. Try one resources, Coursera, Udemy, whatever you feel comfortable. There are lot of open source course are also there on YouTube. If you don't want to go with paid courses, try with a lot of YouTube courses initially. But how much curiosity, how much planning, and how much hands-on stuff, the curiosity you have, it all depend on how much then you will become successful in this field. ML ops is also there, right? Machine learning, AI adoption. But I think the main attitude is how impactful you are to the client, how quickly you can solve if any issue come. Can you write some script or something? Can you troubleshoot thing? Because like Umar Bhai was telling, you need containerization OS fundamental. Because if something is broken, then if you don't have a sound fundamental, how you will fix the issue? Because a lot of weird issue come actually, which even I would say Chat GPT or any AI system also won't be able to solve that out. But these knowledgeable people, because if something is running on the production, it's all like become prod incident, and within a few hours or thing it needs to get back. So I would say DevOps engineer, don't assume that it is a very easy role, because if something is broken, then you need to be seated or even work on the weekend also. So have that mindset. And then salary is also good because they are doing the complex part, they are keeping the system up and running for the client. So that's why salary is also competitive, but the work pressure and the thing also will be high. So don't assume it is a very lightweighted thing and you will be just doing, and
So,
people will just leave
sure,
you.
but let me share my screen. I'm just sharing you my screen. This is one of the blog or the from where I've taken it out, what their research says out. Okay. Let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay. If you see here, they say, right, the DevOps is into specialized into titles, multiple titles. Okay. DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, site reliability engineer, platform engineer.
However, we
But
are not able to see your screen.
you're not able to see my screen?
No.
I can see, I can see. We
Okay,
can
you.
see actually.
Mm, let me know who are not able to see my screen.
Go ahead, Umar bhai. I think we can see your
Yeah.
screen. Go ahead.
Okay. So see, that's what I said, right? You can they may call with any role, DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, site reliability engineer, platform engineer. Okay. But it the underlying work what you do or you deal with day-to-day basis, they revolve around the same technologies and tool like Linux, networking, CI/CD, containers, cloud, and everything. Okay. So in all these four roles, okay, you can if you need to know all these technologies, right? That's all the basic fundamentals what you need to know it out. And this is some valuation what they have given on the US from the US market by reading the Glassdoor, like our average level of salary, what they are expecting for any role in this one. If you see here, the platform engineer is getting the always highest one. Okay. So can anyone tell me what is the difference between a platform engineer and the DevOps engineer? I'll stop my sharing. Probably if you can bring it up. What is the difference between the DevOps engineer and a platform engineer? Any idea? Have you heard of these roles? At least definitely you might have heard about the DevOps engineer role or cloud engineer role. I think even the SRE role, what you might have used or heard about. So do you know what is the platform engineer's roles and responsibilities? What they exactly do it out? I'm audible, right?
Yes, yes. So, audience, feel free to share your opinion. You can put on the chat also. Because if you talk more, then it will be more interesting and we will be able to answer more actually. But if you are silent, then maybe we'll wind up this webinar early also. So, anyone know the difference? Or if you don't know, tell no.
Okay. So DevOps engineer mostly deals with the build and release management activities, okay, with the application part of it. Like he have a bunch of applications and he manage the builds and release and deployments and all the stuff, okay. But when it comes to the platform engineer guy, they develop the standard tools, platforms for any application teams or their development teams has to do that, like what they call it, integrated development platforms. They name it as a IDP tools. Okay, and platform engineers are someone who sets a golden path for or the sets the templates or the standardization for any DevOps engineer or the organization has to use for their applications to deploy on any platform. Okay. Like for example, say if as a platform engineer, right? I define some standardization saying that if you are writing any Terraform code, these are the standards what you have to do. It has to use these modules and this only you can use it on this only. If I am as a platform engineer, if I ask someone to deploy any Java API component, right? A Java component or Java API, right? I'll give them some predefinition on my platform saying that you have to use the SSL, these versions of SSL, and these are the all your secrets has to go to this secret vault, right? No sensitive information in the code, right? You have to reach out to like all vulnerabilities has to be you need to have 100% coverage, and you need to have maintain all vulnerabilities should no vulnerability should be there in your code bases. So these are the standardizations what I do it out as a platform engineer, right? So that's where the difference is between the DevOps engineer. DevOps engineer is more deals with the pipeline writing or this one actually. But as a platform engineer, you more deal with the platform, setting up a platform actually, right? Where you define the rules and governance, you follow the governance required for it, and then you uh, publish those, make sure that those, you enforce those rules are followed across the organization. Okay. But to do all these activities, again, the underlying technologies, right? Tools and technologies will remain same, right? For any platform engineer, you need to know the cloud. If you have to set up a rules and regulations on a cloud, like if someone wanted to run an application in the EKS, okay, then they'll come up with a set of guidelines saying that these are the guidelines if you want to run it on this one. They'll say like any microservice what you are running on the AWS EKS, it cannot go beyond these resources. Okay, you cannot use more than CPU and all the stuff. Okay, right. So this is what they do it out. Yeah. So yes, scripting. I would recommend to use Python. Bash is good to have, but Python is one which helps you when you if you are starting fresh to learn the scripting, then I would recommend to start with Python directly because Python scripting will help you in writing even the RAG models or developing the agents as well. Okay. So Bash is more of like a infra guy scripting stuff, but Python is one. Python and Terraform, two different things actually. Okay. Shoaib has asked the question. Uh, Python and Terraform, two different things. Python scripting is more of like it's a development or a scripting language where you can use it for to do your daily activities. Okay. Like any automations or any business automations want to do, any operational automation want to do, anything you want to do, you can use Python. But Terraform is more of other kind of a scripting. It's a provisioning automation. Okay. With Terraform, you can only do a provisioning activity. Like you can provision a servers, you can configure the VNets and everything what you do it out. So two different things.
There is one question I see Abdullah Wazir has written. I think we have talked enough also on that. Umar Bhai has spoken also. His question is I have knowledge on AWS and Azure operation. What all tool knowledge roadmap required for become DevOps engineer?
Yeah.
I think Umar
So
Bhai has spoken on this, but if you want to add anything further,
yeah,
Umar
I
Bhai.
replied to him as well. He need to know the Linux actually. AWS in the sense like might be having the cloud knowledge of stuff. Okay. But as a AWS engineer or a cloud engineer, he should know the Linux internals. Okay. At least OS stuff, networking, load balancing, CI/CD, and containers. If he knows these five things, then he is a very good fit for DevOps engineer because he is having a uh, uh, Abdullah Bawasir, right? He's having the good knowledge on the Azure operations and the AWS cloud, hands-on experience. Getting the experience on this one, it will add advantage for them. Easy get into the DevOps. And for anyone who is starting with this one, right? Like who is freshly starting with DevOps, right? They wanted to know from where to start and all this, right? So I suggested one stuff, right? One platform. Okay. So they will give you something like this. I'll share that as well. I mean, it's not something promotional, though. It's all your interest, whichever reason. Because in my early career, I followed this guy from YouTube, and I know how this guys has excelled from a YouTube channel to a platform, edtech industry. So that's the reason I'm finding them. It will be like they'll give you on very basic understanding for any entry level who wanted to get started. If you go for a DevOps, right, you can choose for the path what you are wanted to do it on. Okay. If you choose for the DevOps path here, okay, he'll give you the set. You can choose what is the level of knowledge you have. When you say nothing, it will ask you the set of courses all you have to do. Okay. You can choose any one thing actually here. Okay. So these guys give you, and it will tell you like how many hours you can spend. This is something interesting about it, where if you anyone is interested to learn and they don't know from where to start and all the stuff and requires always a guidance, I would recommend this one because like all other edtech platforms, right, they don't have this kind of uh, uh, a path defined for any role actually which you are looking out for. They have the like Udemy or something. They have all the courses they are available at, and you have to select which one you want to learn. But these guys, this platform gives you the linear, structured way of learning, which were based on whatever you wanted to achieve. Okay.
Yeah, I see. This is a very nice actually path, completely defined. So learn. I would say encourage you to learn because learning will only help. It won't be like uh, it won't go any waste actually. Whether you become a programmer, AI engineer, all these fundamental remain very needed basically to have a solid foundation. Even if you become an architect, I'm working as a solution architect. I also need all these concepts to solve the business problem for the client. So even like TCP, HTTP, how it works, we use like MQTT protocol. So we need to know in and out about how that works actually. So quick learning and I would say whatever needed in the project, on time learning, all these things, and the flexible attitude is what all needed actually, along with the good communication skill. And I would say you follow some people relevant to the field. Like if you go to LinkedIn, a lot of people with solution architect or DevOps role will be there. So you follow the people used to share a lot of good insight, regular update. Uh, if you follow one DevOps engineer in the LinkedIn, you will see multiple other his connection actually. Lot of like influencer also used to keep putting some stuff like or some blogging like Medium. People used to write frequently on the DevOps. There are specific group communities like they are specifically talking on DevOps only. Even like big enterprises, AWS, Azure, they have their own YouTube channel dedicated to DevOps, and they used to release out the resources, their product upgrade related to DevOps. So a lot of things are there. It's how much we follow and to the
Yeah.
interest what we have.
One more thing I wanted to share, like if someone don't want to, the platform, what I said, right, they'll give you the lab as well to practice and all stuff. If someone is saying that, okay, I wanted to find out somewhere free where I can learn and all the stuff. And there is one guy in YouTube channel, you can look it for Abhishek Veeramalla. Okay. He's a DevOps engineer. He's a ex TCS guy. Okay. So he has a pretty good videos and pretty informative videos where he does it out. Even you can go through his channel if you wanted to learn anything onto DevOps. I've shared his channel as well here. And as Shoaib has suggested, you can follow anyone on the LinkedIn who are active and they share the regular information on the LinkedIn. So not to follow everyone who is in DevOps profession, actually, not everyone, um, right? Not everyone keeps their LinkedIn profile active. They only come back and see and go back. Most of them actually. Only few keep their LinkedIn profile active when they wanted to share the information across. You find such people and then you keep on follow them, their post and see that they'll share you the industries and everything what happened. Yeah. I see there is a question from Abdullah. Wanted to switch career from IT administrator to DevOps engineer. Real-time Q&A. What do you mean by real-time Q&A?
Maybe he wants day-to-day activities or scenario-based.
Mm, I don't know. So Abdullah, can you clarify what do you mean by real-time Q&A?
You can unmute yourself and directly talk, Abdullah.
Yeah.
Maybe I think he's looking Umar Bhai that he is trying something. He's stuck while doing something and he wants some assistant basically.
Okay. So that's what Abdullah said, like, as I stated earlier also, right? See, real-time experience is something not can be taught. Okay, it can be only shared or experienced out. Okay, you can only learn things and whatever the experience you have, and you need to showcase that with the what you have learned out. Okay, so that's how you do it out. Like for you say, like you're an IT administrator. When you learn these all DevOps technologies and tools and technologies, you get a fair understanding. Then you keep your experience, whatever the industry experience you have, you keep that, you apply that experience to as a DevOps engineer, then you bring it up. So I myself, I have been working as a DevOps engineer from past 7, 8 years or more than 8 years actually, right? So I got a different experience and I can talk in different mindset and all the stuff. But I can't give everything to you as it is as a real time experience. Okay, that only comes in when it's a necessity based on what are the situation I am in now. Okay, if your question is on asking like real time knowledge and all the stuff, that you can only get it when you try to handle the scenarios or when you openly speak about the multiple scenarios in the DevOps with the people who has already worked on. That's where you can understand that. Yeah, I see Riyazuddin, there is a question. AI awareness for managers leading automation or generative AI and agentic AI. Client is jumping on to Gemini Enterprise, but org is on to Microsoft Cloud, Copilot, and Cloud. Okay. So AI awareness is must for everyone, Riyazuddin. It doesn't matter like whether we are in low level engineer, manager, or a business guy or even. AI awareness is completely needed for everyone. Okay. And to lead the automation, you need to have more understanding of like what kind of a AI you are adapting on. Okay. I think you are more specific to generative AI, right? When you say generative AI, what are the business cases you are looking out for? What are the automation cases you are looking out for? Okay. And you have to see like what are the models available for you in the industry. Okay. How is the cost going on? Okay, and how effectively you can use it out, because any automation or anything development or utilization around AI, Gen AI specifically, is cost creation actually, cost burdening. Okay, so yeah, now it doesn't matter whether you are using the Gemini Enterprise or Microsoft Copilot or Claude. Okay, it's all depends on the how well the model is trained, how what the model is good at. Okay. As far as my knowledge, might be not wrong, but Claude's models are more good at doing the IT industry's activities, like a technology activities. That's what I got to know or understood out. Okay. Claude Sonnet or any models of decision making or creating the proper architectures or something like right. Those Claude is good at that. When it comes to Gemini Enterprise, right? They are good at creating the uh, videos or diagrams and all the stuff actually. That's what I understood out, but Flash is more of like a research or kind of thing they used out. So again, same thing. Actually, you can look in, looked in into the uh, what you say. You can look into the LinkedIn. Okay, you can follow any one architect or principal engineer, right, who are actively doing implementations of AI, or you can follow any influencer from YouTube, any YouTuber who is doing a research and everything on this one, or even there are I'm not sure how many of you are aware, right, how we have a open source community for development. It is a community getting started for open sources to model development as well. Okay, so going further future, you will also have the models as a free. Today we are paying for the models, no, and probably in some point of time you will have the models for the as a free. You can use it out. So yeah, so if you wanted to know the references, let me see if I have anyone in handy. Mm, I'll share you probably. I'll find when I find someone, I'll share you definitely. Yeah. Or you can do one thing. You can always ask like a. I think we have already done a couple of sessions on uh, AI, how it is going to evolve and how we have to adapt it out. If I'm not wrong, right, Shoaib?
Yes, yes, we have conducted few sessions actually.
Yeah.
He is
And what?
asking more, I think, impact of AI on DevOps. I think you have spoken also.
Right, right. See, it's not AI on DevOps, you can say, right? AI impact AI on industries you can talk about, right? There is no or very few industries where AI has been not interpreted or hasn't been tried out so far. Very few. You can, I think, I know, I think law, I don't know, law is we are using in the law making is not, even when I heard somewhere I read it out, I'm not sure. One of the country, they have got the first robotic parliament member. Okay. And even policymakers, all these people, but any technology area you talk about, yeah, is everywhere. And how do you, it completely depends, like, how do you adapt and how do you use it out? But definitely, it's not going to replace the humans. I think we are somewhere there. Okay, somewhere on conclusion part of that. Okay, because even industry is trying to balance between the cost optimization and the AI adoption and the impact on completely moving to fastly adapting to the AI. Okay. So they are something coming up actually, right? So the industry is not to that way, but that will only be seen in future. We don't know that. Okay, we don't know that. We are yet to see that actually happen out. But how if you understand, right, how the mobile has evolved, how the internet has evolved, okay, and even how e-commerce has evolved actually, right, if you see, right, how they have evolved out, right, when these all things has came into the market, right, there was too much uh, reluctant to accept them or adopt them. Okay, not with internet, I definitely say not with internet, but definitely with the mobiles and the e-commerce. Okay, mobiles, when the people were comfortable with the using the landlines and everything, they don't want to have a habitual of using mobiles. They were concerned about the radiations and all the stuff. Now if you see that, there is no day where you can't look at a screen for at least a 20% of your day. Okay, you can't imagine of a day where you can't even do that, right? And the same goes with the e-commerce, right? E-commerce, when it initially came into the market, right, so people were very doubtful. So who will buy the products online? What is the guarantee and what is the warranty? We'll get it out, how we can trust it, and all of the stuff. Now if you see, almost like we are the marketing or the purchasing happening more on the e-commerce sites rather than the actual stores. Even we are buying the luxury items in the e-commerce stores, right? We have accepted that. So similarly, AI will also be into that state. The early you start adapting it and understanding it, the better you will start utilizing and implementing in your day-to-day life as well as in your workspace. Okay, but again, a debatable concept like which AI, which model, and all the stuff. It completely defines on what is your core purpose. Okay, we have iPhones, we have the Samsung phones which are luxury and which have Samsung normal phones. We just need the purpose what we want to do and what model fits for me, and we just use that AI for our to achieve the job. Yeah.
Thank you, Omar bhai. Omar bhai, I just want to discuss something with you. I have 10 years of experience. I have experience on Windows, then I'm working on VMware virtualization along with the Azure platform. But I want to go with the AWS DevOps, like multi-cloud DevOps. So, is it possible? Can I get the real-time the projects from somewhere? Like we do purchase projects as well, right, from the Udemy and other open sources. So, do you have any knowledge about that?
No, okay. One reason what I understood, like, why do you want it? Because like if you already have worked on Windows, Azure, cloud, and everything, right? Then
Yes, but I
again,
don't have the hands-on experience on DevOps, so
yeah,
that's the
right. Uh, There's nothing in the DevOps actually. In DevOps we use cloud. We do the same thing in cloud. What you have as a Azure cloud engineer, you do it out. Okay, you might be provisioning, you might be setting up the Kubernetes clusters, you might be setting up the storage, you might be setting up the VPCs, VNet peerings, or many more things. If you go
correct.
on services, right? Even the DevOps engineer does the same thing, but he'll be more specific to his platform or application architecture. Like saying that I come up with a platform. What is the need of the platform? I'll pick those services and do it out. But as a Azure cloud engineer, you are expert in each and every service where you are working on. Okay, right? So to understand DevOps engine, to be a platform engineer or a DevOps engineer for a person like you, right? I would suggest, right, you learn AWS. You doesn't require to look for the real-time projects because what real-time project is what? It's not the same business use case what you worked on AWS, sorry, Azure, you can implement on AWS. Okay. For example, say you have a business platform or a platform what you set up in the AWS with a bunch of services required on AWS Azure cloud, you can set up the same platform on AWS. You need to just understand like how does AWS cloud works. Not sorry, what are the services we require on AWS? What are the advantages I have it there, and what is the pricing and all some similar stuff. But the you don't need the real time experience in that. That's what I'm trying to say, right? When you wanted to learn on AWS, you can apply the same knowledge of what you have on Azure cloud to AWS cloud as well. Because the services, right, they might be different name, but bottom line technology or the thing what they do is same. You
Concepts are same. Maybe the services are different.
correct. For example, say you take Azure Load Balancer, you have a traffic manager and Azure Application Gateway. Okay, these are something on the application layer 7 and layer 4 load balancers on Azure, right? If you come to AWS, they have something called Route 53 load classic load balancer, elastic load balancer. The name only changes, okay? But the underlying thing, what they do the same thing.
Thank you
That's the
very
only.
much.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But to get into the DevOps, you need to know a little bit on the, apart from cloud, you need to know more on to the app side, like containers, containerization, how a app is moved from or evolved to a containerization. Actually, that's what you have to understand. How a application development lifecycle goes into that stage. How does a application development happens out? That you need to understand. So these are the things, something you can get it out. This is something you can look out for a real-time experience. Okay, not for cloud, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, I think Shobhi, we are all on time, I believe. Yeah. Any
Yeah,
further
yeah,
questions,
I
guys? We
think
can take
we are
one
good.
last question, guys, if you have anything.
One
Otherwise,
last
we'll.
question we can take.
Yeah.
Are you planning for any online or offline classes for DevOps in the future from the CGC?
Uh,
Uh,
we we
this
did
might be the
couple of
question for
offline. We did couple
yes.
of offline, but uh, it completely uh, depends on the things actually. But as of now, to answer that, we don't have anything in mind as of now. We don't have anything in plan. But if there was any something more request or pipe push in, then probably we can think of. But as in today, as of now, we don't have anything planned in pipeline. Yeah.
Thank you.
But we can conduct such this kind of a sessions whenever you wanted to have some clarity on how does things work. For example, see, learning things, you can learn it from YouTube. Okay, YouTube or any tech platform and everything. Okay, there is nothing new when a person comes and teaches you or showcases you, or what you learn from the internet differs out. But if you have any questionnaires around it and you're not able to understand some concepts, that's where we can on demand basis conduct some sessions. Yeah.
Can we have your social media handle?
Sorry, what's the question? You want to know the social media handle of CGC, right?
Yours, as you are working on the real-time DevOps engineer, so you might be posting the scenarios and articles.
That is the reason I said, like, you need to find out a guy who really active on LinkedIn, okay, who post the articles. I am a person who are not very active on the LinkedIn. Okay, I don't post much of the articles there. Okay, I very rarely log into the. I can give you my profile. Okay, I don't have any problem sharing my profile, but I don't post much on the social media.
I have a question. Recently, I have given one interview on DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
and the hiring manager asked me question that we don't find your GitHub account, and so I said I am not using the GitHub because I always use the organizational GitHub, which I cannot give you the insights.
Okay,
So he was asking about that as well, the GitHub accounts, and he wants to check my
correct.
projects. So is it
Yeah.
a legitimate
So
question from him?
it depends on organization to organization. When you go for a larger organization, right? Uh, or a large organization, they may not ask you for this one. But when you go for a mid-size or a startups kind of organizations, right, they will ask you these questions because uh, uh, the person what they look into, right, they wanted to see like what is your learning or what is your uh, contribution towards these technologies. What is your area of interest? Okay,
Yes, and
because
he shared his screen as well, and he was saying that, see, I have been on active since 2009, 2010. He was showing like that.
correct.
So so if I start updating my GitHub account, it will take a while, right? So again, it will be
No,
starting from 2006 26.
no, that doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter like when you have started your GitHub account, what quality of projects you have in your GitHub account, that's what it matters.
Thank you.
See, GitHub account is like your the public repository. You can
Repository.
create the profile and upload the project whatever you have done. So it is not about you need to be active since last 10 years. As Umar bhai mentioned, you can upload maybe the 5 sample case study that you have as a hands-on you have done. People expect that. Even I see in the US there is a people used to write their GitHub link also that I'm applying for this role and these many sample project I have done. So I
Yes,
think
yes,
that's why he was asking.
Yep, right.
you're right.
It doesn't need to be a development project or something like that. What you say like you are familiar with work, you have a hands-on experience with Azure Cloud, right? You can start writing the some Terraform templates on Azure provisioning and everything that you can place it on your Azure GitHub. Standard templates actually, you can do that.
Yes, yes. Thank you. I'll do.
Okay, I think we are ahead of 8 minutes.
Yes. Okay, I think we are good. Thank you very much, Umar bhai, and all the participants. We'll meet in the next webinar. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all.
very much. You too
Thank you very
both.
much.